got everything. Socks. That's what I remembered.
Well, here we are, E3 2014, and it's actually a really exciting year because not only do we have a bunch of new IPs to check out finally, but also we're going to see some exclusive stuff for the next consoles, which means we're going to see glimpses of what they can really do. So let's go, join the queue. Media registration done. Monday is all about the big press events, and we start with Xbox.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start by welcoming the fans. You are shaping the future of Xbox, and we are better for it.
Independent developers build some of the most unique and diverse gameplay experiences anywhere.
It's about embracing our traditions and our roots and everything that we are passionate about with Halo.
Well, that was actually one of the best Microsoft conferences I've been to because there was no spin, there was no wasting our time talking about functionality that we really don't care that much about. They just showed games, and they showed a lot of new games too. Next up, it was Electronic Arts.
As we start designing the next Mass Effect game, we start by asking fans what they want.
Colliding and influencing each other's emotions.
Water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
We're having very tight, controlled hits. They kind of speak about Faith's power and efficiency because she is a projectile. Whenever she does hit, she hits quick, fast, and hard, and then moves on.
So at the EA press conference, we got to see a bit more of Star Wars Battlefront, and I kind of wish EA just talked about that for the whole conference, but that's not really practical. But they also talked about Mirror's Edge 2. It's great to see that coming back. We also saw a bit more of Dragon Age Inquisition, and it looks like they've got some interesting enemy attack patterns in there, and definitely lots and lots of locations, which is the most important thing. And of course, Battlefield Hardline. It's exciting to me because it looks like Battlefield's Rush mode, but with cops and robbers, and that's awesome.
Welcome to the Ubisoft E3 media briefing.
We've just left Ubisoft and we saw a bit more of The Division, a story trailer, which was incredible. And we saw a bit more of Assassin's Creed as well, and really starting to see a next-gen open world and how that can actually look, a proper next-gen open world, and that's really exciting. And also it's good not to have silly celebrities coming out and spruiking games when they have absolutely nothing to do with it. They've got the developers coming out to talk about their games that they've been working hard on. Now we're on the way to Sony, and we're going to see what they have to offer.
Good evening. PlayStation remains steadfast in our commitment to provide gamers the thrills, deep narrative experiences, and challenging gameplay they desire.
We've created a procedural universe. It's infinite, and it's one that everyone can share.
You've been out of the game for a long time. You are the product of everything you fear.
Well, that's our last press conference for the day. Sony showed a commitment to free-to-play games. They announced GTA 5 for PlayStation 4, and everything else just kind of blurred into the background because we got to see some Batman Arkham Knight gameplay, proper gameplay, Batmobile and all. With the press events over, Tuesday begins on the show floor at E3. The wheels fall! That's how it's done.
High five, high five,
high five. Well done.
We've always wanted to play the film.
There's never been a game that we felt has represented the original fear of that one alien. The idea that being in a location, not having machine guns, and just being a single alien being the most terrifying thing you can imagine was like, yeah, we'd love to play that. We knew if we couldn't make the alien feel like it was intelligent and terrifying, then we didn't have a game. We needed to make the alien feel like it would adapt to you, like it was hunting you. You know, we've created this entity that behaves on senses. So the AI programming team has done an amazing job of creating this thing that reacts to light and sound and movement and has behaviors to support that. When we drop in a level, we're really not sure which way he's going to go or how he's going to behave, and that's quite fun and terrifying for us as developers.
The alien's in the next room and I don't know what to do. Oh, he saw me! Let's do this. Let's do it.
Woo! On top of that, we have other threats on the station, like the synthetic. And then we have survivors on the station. We didn't want to create humans that were just killing you for no reason, and you would just gun them down, because it doesn't feel like what Ripley would do, and it doesn't kind of suit the game or the environment.
Look, Ripley, when this job came across my desk, I read the case history.
We always knew that we wanted a strong female lead for the game, because that's been something that's core to the franchise like since the first film. And the game's set 15 years after the accident of the Nostromo. No one knows what happens to it. Surely people would be looking for it. We know from some of the fiction and some of the deleted scenes that, you know, Ellen Ripley had a daughter. She'd clearly be looking. So that kind of led us to this character of, you know, Amanda Ripley.
It's upset me a little bit, so I'm gonna leave.
All right? Yeah, all good. All right, set up, and on 3. 1, 2, 3!
What we're bringing to the table this year is the Siege gameplay. Siege really encapsulates the whole idea of an opposition between two different teams. We have a completely asymmetric gameplay. On the one side, we have defenders. Their role is to build a stronghold. They have tools to fortify their area, to put barricades on windows, to put traps around them. They could put barbed wires on the ground. Their whole goal is to fortify the area, make sure it's untakeable. It's their stronghold. And on the other side, we have the attackers, the Rainbows. They want to get in, they want to get to their objective. What we're showing is the rescue hostage game mode. So they have to get to the hostage and get her out to safety. And the tools they have is, of course, destruction, mainly. So they can start by observing. They're going to find a weak point in defense. And once they found that weak point, they're going to exploit it, explode the walls, shoot through walls, breach the ceilings, whatever they need to do to get in the room or getting the area where the hostage is, bring her back to safety. This is an in-house technology that has been essentially built for Rainbow Six. And what it is, it's fully procedural, material-based destruction. Never before has a game taken the time to put the wooden beams inside the walls. Nobody sees them, so there's no need to build them. Now in Rainbow Six, you build a house, you have to build, you know, the wires, the wooden beams, the gyps, and all of this is a lot of work and a lot of innovation in terms of production pipeline.
All right, I'm taking out the main entrance. All right, I got the window. Go!
One of the most requested features was the ability to play and to share the experience with other people or friends. So we decided to go ahead, build the technology, and add co-op to Assassin's Creed. You can join up with friends and go on missions that are the vary in difficulty. So sometimes you'll end up in front of a mission that's a 4-star, for example, and you're not necessarily up for it. But if you have a friend that's stronger than you, that has played a little bit longer than you, then you're good to go. There's stuff that's on our bucket list. There's stuff that we wanted to do for years that just weren't possible with the hardware. Now we can. So what we did is that we rebuilt our 3D engine, we've rebuilt our AI engine, and now we're able to have crowds of up to 5,000 NPCs. We can have much longer rendering distances. So, you know, this was necessary in order to recreate Paris during the 18th century. We look at pivotal moments of history and we try to find what's most interesting about those settings. Because of the French Revolution, there's beheadings, there's stuff like that, but it was also an important, a moment in human history because that's where the modern world basically started.
AJ, the fortress you're looking for is called Ratu Gaddy. Should be in the valley down below.
Okay, I'll head in that direction.
So Far Cry 4 sees you play AJ Gale. You're a young man who was born in Kirat, who hasn't been there for a long time, and you return, and the premise of the story is that AJ's mother has recently died, and her final wish, her dying request, was that AJ returns to Kirat, the country of his birth, to scatter her ashes at a sacred place of her choosing. That's when you take that bus ride through the Himalayas, you try and sneak through the border with a few dollars in the passport, and that's when you meet Pagan Min, and everything goes wrong.
Picture right into the camera. There we are. Awesome.
So moving from Far Cry 3 to Far Cry 4, we've gone from sandy shores and beaches and lush tropical islands to the kind of mountainous Himalayas. So obviously we have a lot more verticality. So with that, we found new opportunities for gameplay. So we have the grappling system now. So you have a grapple hook. You can throw that to climb to points way higher than you could climb in Far Cry 3. It's completely systemic. It meshes with all of the other open world navigation tools. So it's completely seamless. It isn't scripted. We also have the buzzer, which is a small kind of one-man gyrocopter kind of helicopter thing, and that lets you get from low points to high points very, very quickly. We also have the wingsuit, which was in Far Cry 3, but for some reason we only unlocked it after about 20 hours of gameplay, right? So this time, obviously with mountains, we're not going to make that mistake again. So promise that you'll get the wingsuit early.
Why would people play this in co-op? What's in it for them? Why would they get a friend?
Well, it was one of those things that we, as a team, at the end of Far Cry 3, we kind of realized that the open world actually had more appeal than we thought when we were developing Far Cry 3, and the open world was one of those kind of obvious missed opportunities that when we shipped the game, we were like, it's so obvious, like this would be cool if I could bring in a friend and we could attack this outpost together from different sides. So that's basically the philosophy behind co-op. You can ride the elephant, I'll go sneak in through the walls, and we'll try and take this outpost. So we turn off the single-player narrative missions, and we just let the open world kind of invite you in.
I always felt like Far Cry 3 should have had dinosaurs in it. It would be the perfect opportunity.
You don't know how many people on the team, around the team, in the studio, and just on the street want to see some kind of dinosaur action. For now, you can live with elephants.
I don't know much about cars, but I know this is a sick one.
As we were designing our world, picking some of the most beautiful and varied parts of Southern Europe, we took the view as a design team that barriers should only exist in our world, where they exist in the real world. So we have Tuscany in our game, and Tuscany is famous for having vineyards everywhere. So I'm not saying I would recommend doing it in real life, but in real life you could drive your car through these vineyards, and therefore you can do it in our game. But it's also given us one of our brand new event types. It's an event type that we call cross-country, an event type that abandons the road altogether and sees you and 11 other cars barreling across the open countryside in a race to the finish. Well, we have cars for every taste, from every corner of car culture. I mean, we have modern supercars like the Lamborghini Huracan that makes its debut in our game, but we also have monster off-road cars, classic American muscle cars, Group B rally legends, European hot hatches. And what we want you to do is explore that list, explore all 200 cars if you can. I mean, of course, we want you to find the cars that you know you love, but we also want you to discover new cars, cars that you've never driven before, cars that you can fall in love with.
Well, that's our first day on the floor of E3 done and dusted. We played some big games and some small ones, and we're starting to get a sense of the themes. You know, each year there's always a few industry themes, and right now it seems to be all about, there's a lot of sci-fi, but everything has some sort of multiplayer component or online experience or blending of it, but just much, much more than usual, and I think it seems to be the way everything's heading. But yeah, we'll see more tomorrow. Well, we're back on the road again for day 2 on the floor of E3, which I call Batman Day, because we're interviewing about Batman games.
Bruce, I found Penguin. He's got
I'm on my way.
The opportunity to design a suit for Batman is an incredible honor for anyone working in Batman's universe. But we wanted the suit to feel like a real kind of military piece of hardware and also just looks badass. We knew in our heart of hearts that we had to do the Batmobile. It drives fast, it hits hard, it's big, it's got all of this kind of preloaded preconception about what it does and what it looks like. To deliver that combination of high speed and hard-hitting destruction, we're kind of concerned that the horsepower that we had at our disposal at the time, we just weren't going to be able to pull that off to the quality that it needed to be. All of our technical decisions were made for us from that point. Building a world that genuinely feels like Gotham means you've got to get a load of things right in terms of aesthetic, but you've also got to get this emotional atmosphere right that makes it feel not just like a city, but feels like Gotham City. And the power of next gen is a double-edged sword. You can do so many amazing things, but then the expectations are just as high as well.
So many people. The trick is to be a ninja and just be like the wind and just glide through without touching anyone. It's a skill that you learn from many years of conventions. The stealth. I just touched someone's hand. That's not good. Ed Boon, welcome back to Good Game.
Thank you very much. Always glad to talk to you guys.
Shirai Ryu, dog. Linguay scum.
Mortal Kombat X is the follow-up to our 2011 Mortal Kombat game. So we really wanted to kind of follow up with something that was more than just skinning it with next-generation graphics, and wanted to introduce a bunch of new things, new gameplay features, new game modes, and new characters. That's a big thing. I think we're introducing more characters to this Mortal Kombat game than perhaps any of the other ones ever. There's 3 versions or variations of every character in the game. So there's 3 versions of Scorpion, and one of the variations of Scorpion has swords on his back that he uses, weapons. So it's not like every character has weapons, but there are certain versions of characters that can use weapons. And so it's what's really great is, there's an offensive version of Scorpion, a defensive version of Scorpion, a more in-your-face version of Scorpion. And that's the case with every character in the game.
Finish him!
Each year, the indie scene at E3 gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's being more recognized as such an important part of our industry. And this is a really relaxed, casual area where you can just sit down and play some independent games and talk to the people that make them. Oh, no. Couldn't go.
We can no longer deny what is clear. Our time on Earth is ending.
So we've been doing historical civs for a while, civilization, the dawn of time and dawn of man, and then moving through the centuries. And the idea of going beyond and going into the future, and how would mankind develop if challenges were thrown at mankind beyond here? How would they develop? How would they react? How would they overcome those challenges? What choices would they make? That's a very interesting proposition, we thought. And we have a lot of sci-fi fans in our studio, and science fans. It seemed like a very natural step for us to just move ahead. So when we look at history, we have a linear progression because we know where we'll end and how the rough progression of research went. Now, going into the future, it's unknown. There's several paths that seem plausible, and we focused in on 3 main paths. Those are purity, harmony, and supremacy, and they basically outline approaches that humanity might take in the future. So harmony, they come to this planet and they commit to it. They say, this is our new home. They look at the genes of the alien life forms they find and start adapting to it so that they can survive really well on this planet. Then we have purity. They go a very different route. They come to the planet. They say, like, well, we're humans. We don't want to change us. We're good as we are. We change the planet. So they change the planet to be a new Earth, a new Eden, so to speak. And then there's supremacy. They thought, well, let's not become too dependent on one specific world. Let's become independent of our environment. And they use cybernetics and robotics. Those are some systems we're excited about.
A new beginning for mankind.
And in 3, 2, 1, you're away.
Oh, dear. Oh. Oh no! Okay, not going very well so far. I used to do this as a kid, back in New Zealand, down a massive hill, and I almost died about 30 times, so I'm glad I can now do it in real life and not have the threat of real death. Virtual life, I mean.
So Project Morpheus is a virtual reality system for PlayStation 4. What we're trying to achieve is not just immersion. You can get immersed in a book or a movie or a game, no problem at all. Now, what virtual reality does is something else, and we refer to this as a sense of presence. Now, what that means is the sense of truly being in a world, not using your imagination, but actually your senses telling you that you're in this world. And you can use 2 moves, one in each hand, and bring your hands into the world, and then maybe your move controllers can become swords or weapons or shields or torches or a multitude of other devices that you bring into the world with you. We can do the same with the DualShock 4. It's got a tracking light on there, so again, we can track that device and bring that into the game world with us, and as a result, bring our arms and our shoulders and our elbows into the world too. We've got so much to learn. We've been learning a rate of knots, but we're going to make sure that Project Morpheus gets polished and refined, and we understand everything about virtual reality, make some great games. When all that's together, obviously we'll get that out there, but it's not currently the state, so we're still working on it. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, man. That was awesome. That didn't go very well.
116. Let's say you're in the top 2/3.
Okay, right? I'm in the top 116. We've been playing some Nintendo games, and, you know, I always feel like they never have enough games, and they still don't have enough games for the Wii U, but you can't help but feel completely warmed with all the ones that are here. I just feel happy listening to the music and bopping along to the beautiful colors, and it's just so warming to play these games. Just currently finding some horse guys in bling with giant swords. A few turtles. Mario Maker, where you can make your own Mario levels, and it's a pretty cool idea. Test out the level. Oh dear, I've made this a little difficult for myself.
Cover mechanic, right?
Now, Sunset Overdrive is a stylized, irreverent shooter that changes the rules for shooters. The way we change the rules is, you and I probably played shooters for what, 15 years, etc. We're used to hiding behind cover, popping up, firing at a couple enemies, scuttling to the next cover, and doing the same thing again and again, right? In Sunset Overdrive, we allow players to be hyper agile. We want you to vault, wall run, bounce, grind through this giant world. At the same time, we want you to take advantage of all these crazy weapons that we're giving you, or you're earning, in the game, to build, to present a very different style of combat for shooters.
Ah, here are some weapons. All right.
I used to think this town was boring.
For the last decade, we as societies have been obsessed with this vision of the apocalypse as gray and brown and rubble-strewn, and certainly Insomniac, we've made games like that too. But we wanted to turn that on its head. We wanted to present the end times as not an apocalypse, but your awesome apocalypse. A time where you can actually celebrate your individuality and be who you want to be. And despite the fact that the game is driven by a deep story with, you know, emotional development of our characters, we're always having fun. We're always breaking the fourth wall. We're always paying homage to the fact that we're a game, and we recognize that.
Can you save Sunset City? Can you? For the love of God, can you? Of course you can. It's a f***ing video game.
This is beautiful. This is the biggest monster I've ever seen. This is for Evolve. Look at that. You can see the drool coming off its face.
This isn't the first time we've hunted monsters, is it, girl? It's here.
Tell us about Evolve. What are you trying to achieve with this game?
Well, fun.
we wind up making games that we want to play that nobody else, like we can't find that experience out there, you know? And so for us, really where it came from was we love co-op and we want to go fight a big monster, but wouldn't it be cool if like your buddy was the big monster, right? And so that was the whole core of it, and that's really what we're trying to do. Is it's a boss battle, but it's a human controlling the boss.
How are you guys approaching the controls to make the monster as much fun as the other players?
Well, it used to be a first-person monster, so you'd see your claws or your tentacles or whatever out in front of the screen, but it felt very like mechanical, and we really wanted it to feel more organic, and so we moved to third person so you could see the whole monster, and you're a little bit more aware of your surroundings. And then the abilities are all on different buttons, so it winds up, it feels a little bit more like a fighting game as opposed to a first-person shooter on the monster side. So it's, you know, it's asymmetrical in 4v1, but it's also different being the monster just because the controls are different. We wanted a deeper level of co-op, so we invented the different character classes, so everybody has a very specific role.
Detaching my head for recon. Please do not be alarmed.
You know, in Left 4 Dead, all the characters did the same thing. They all could carry the same guns. You know, so we really wanted there to be a guy who was dedicated to healing and a guy who was dedicated to doing damage.
Suck on this, you bastard!
But then really, we kind of missed that like super competitive aspect of Counter-Strike. And we worked on Counter-Strike for years, and that's really where the monster comes in, you know, and playing a human-controlled monster in it. It really gets the heart pounding and has that like I gotta win kind of mentality going into it.
So that's the end of day 2 on the floor at E3. It's kind of crunch time where all your parts of your body start aching and your face is sore, but you're also really excited about all the stuff you've seen, so it's a conflict of sorts. But now to bed. All right, E3 last day, let's go!
You know, Battlefield's always been a military game, and it's gone a lot of cool places. It's gone to Vietnam, it's gone to the future of 2142, and it's always been different settings, but it's always been the same theme. It's always been a military theme. We felt that the Cops and Robbers theme really brought something fresh, new, and exciting for gamers to the Battlefield universe. I mean, we've got a whole TV-style presentation where players can kind of get a sense of being in a modern cop or criminal drama. A lot of the fantasy comes from the new game modes. We've got the mode Heist, and Heist is all about pulling off that big job or that perfect score. There's an armored convoy rolling through the heart of Los Angeles, and the criminals ambush us with RPGs, and they stop the armored cars. Then they have to run up to the armored cars and plant charges on the back to blast through the armor to get at the bags inside. Once the charges go off, the armored cars are open, and the criminals grab the bags and try to escape with them. The other mode we've got is Blood Money. There's a huge pile of cash, and the cops are fighting the security as evidence, and the criminals are trying to steal it so they can go buy cool stuff, obviously. The enemy team can raid your vault, take all your money, and so you can see the scores of the match go up and down. One team might be really close to winning, but then the other team comes in, takes all their money, and suddenly they're winning. So there's some dramatic turnarounds and some really exciting moments in them. And I don't know about you, but I love getting in the cop car and I'll put on a siren. Even though they hear me coming, I want them to know. Here I am, I'm the police, I'm coming to get you.
If you're gonna put a car in a game, give it a horn.
Yep.
I wish the helicopters had horns.
They do. Have you heard what happens when you press the helicopter horn button?
No.
You issue compliance. Throw down your weapons, this is the police. So we've got a lot of cool stuff hidden in the game for you like that.
Have the right to remain silent.
We liked your game so much, we thought we would honor you with a scroll, an official Good Game scroll.
Oh, well, thank you. Should I just go for it? Read what it says. Certificate is awarded to Mortal Kombat X for winning Best Game of E3 2014.
Best Game of E3 2014? That's amazing.
Whoa. Thank you very much. That we have seen so far.
that we've seen so far. That we have seen so far.
That we have seen so far.
Because there are a lot of other games on show this year, and some might be better than yours.
And some might be better than yours.
Some might be better than yours, or not.
Or not. It's still good.
Yours is still good.
Yeah, we love this, but we haven't seen them all yet, so we can't be sure yet.
It's a big show. Thank you very much.
We haven't seen them all yet, but it looks incredible. So we wanted to give you an award. That's great. That was brilliant. We'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Put it on the wall.
Please do. A lot of games.
Thank you, absolutely.
A lot of games. We haven't seen them all yet.
It's still, that is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Show yourself and I will kill you!
I wish you could. We knew we had to be ambitious. We knew we had to do something original. We wanted to make something, even if you've never seen another Middle-earth story, you can totally enjoy it as an epic standalone story, but very, very grounded and connected to the larger canon as well, so very accurate to the canon of what we know. And that's when we decided to set it in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. We thought there was a really good opportunity to do something that hadn't been done before, was to focus on the enemies. Because in an action game, so much of what you're doing is engaging with the enemies. That's so much of what the action in the action game is. And so we didn't want generic cannon fodder. And how can we take all of those ideas and put them onto your enemies and let you truly create your own villains? So that became very much a pillar of the game, and where the stories and the villains that you create within that world are actually crafted by your interactions with them and their interactions with each other. So the combat, our starting point was absolutely Arkham. We really looked at that as the benchmark for third-person melee combat, and then we evolved it. And you know, I think where we've gotten to somewhere that is quite unique is because our environment and our world is so living and dynamic. You've got, you know, wild creatures coming in. So then we put a lot of effort into how seamlessly can you flow in between entering combat from stealth and getting up your hit counter to flowing directly into a move, to then having a showdown against your personal nemesis and your swords clashing, to an explosion going off. So we wanted it to be very fluid and very dynamic and always surprising.
Why, man, keep coming back?
I've stuck away from my crew because they have this huge retro section here, which I've never seen in an E3 before, and found some moonwalkers, so I'm going to have a quick go. This guy wants a punch. I'm just gonna ride my speeder bike into them. I know it's not gonna help, but I just want to do it. I like it when AI find each other. You can just sit back and pick up the pieces. We could only get 10 minutes hands-on with Destiny. Not really enough to form much of an opinion, except that obviously there's a lot of Halo DNA in there. I think the big question is, how will Destiny separate itself from Halo and forge its own identity? But we just have to play a lot more before we can see that. I think the logo looks like a penis.
We play as Galahad, a knight who's been embroiled in this battle with the enemy for centuries now. And he's literally at a point where he's questioning his role in this war.
Save your prayers, Lafayette. There is no God to help him.
We were inspired by, say, Jules Verne and Tesla works of the time. And the guys wanted to have a period piece that was at least believable. We didn't want weapons that couldn't exist at the time. So the guys did a meticulous job in looking into copper and steel and weapons of that era, but then thinking, all right, but we have to ramp it up. These are knights with a real mission who've been embroiled in a war for centuries, and it only makes sense that they have the best weaponry of the time. There's no CG pre-rendered sequence. What you're seeing is the in-game engine rendering out that sequence on the fly. The guys have built their tools from the ground up, and this kind of adds to the look and feel that we've got in the game. And again, we're looking towards creating a cinematic experience for our player. We don't want it to just be a mindless shooter, cover shooter. We have a sequence of action, and then we look at how we can tell a story, which kind of gives you a real explanation or a plausible explanation as to why you're doing what you are, and tells Galahad's tale in a believable manner.
Stop for a pint, did you?
Just about to try out Oculus Rift 2.0 with it's got the Z-axis, it's got the updated screens, a wider field of view, I believe. Very keen to see if it makes me throw up, much like the last version, or if I can handle it. We're gonna play an alien game, it looks like, which is awesome. All right, strap me in. I'm controlling my movement just like a normal FPS, except I can move my head around and see around me. I definitely noticed the improvement in the screen, and I can see that when I lean forward and back like this, it moves with me, so that it feels a bit less like I'm gonna throw up. I do feel a bit sick still, but I think that's just me. Oh, especially when you look to the right and the left. Oh man, oh man. I can see the alien. Oh, no. I'm running. Go, go, go! No, I'm dead. Oh, no, I'm looking. Oh, no, it came out of my chest. It's over.
You died.
That's amazing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. It was actually a big step up. Everything looked a lot more solid. I still felt a little bit ill, but nothing like with the previous version. And I think that comes with the, the head tracking's a lot better and the high resolution screen. It was really intense playing. I think it was Alien Isolation playing and seeing the monster and being able to look left and right and hearing it and then looking and then seeing the stuff come through my chest. That was a new experience. That was, yeah, pretty magic.
You start off with just a little bit of money and a small ship, and you can do what you like. You can just head off into the unknown. You can behave legally, you can be a pirate. It's about freedom. You can do what you like. Right at the start, I didn't like the way games were regimented. You had to do a certain thing, level-based or whatever, that we see a lot. The beauty with this is you can just go where you like. You can look behind the set. Nothing can be faked. Everything has to be there. There's sort of veracity of what we're doing, that sort of having all the accuracy that we've managed to put in makes it feel a lot more real to me. I mean, in the original Elite, I remember, and in Frontier, your mind does the rest. You think if it's a consistent world, you can sort of build out the rest of it. What I'm hoping we're doing here is we're helping the imagination that bit further, so the world is so much richer that your imagination takes it further still. We've put in 150,000 approximately systems from the night sky, from star catalogues and things like that are all real. So every dot in the night sky you can fly to, you can visit, and also with things that you see with telescopes. But beyond that, we've procedurally generated the rest of the galaxy, which is roughly 400 billion star systems, but fitting in with all the rules to the best science we can possibly do. And the amazing thing is the night sky, when you look up in the sky, we've added dust so it just matches the night sky we see today. But when you travel a short distance, you see all the constellations no longer match, because they all, constellations, a lot of those are foreground stars, so parallax changes them. And so we have probably got the first night skies as viewed from other stars. What I want to do is explore beyond human space. Just head off into the ocean, fill my ship with spare parts and see how far I can get.
Well, that was E3 2014, and there's certainly a lot to think about. In fact, I think I need to go for a drive.
This E3, we saw a lot of games made just for next-gen. A lot of open worlds with colour, scale and detail that we hadn't really seen before. Our games are no longer held back by last-gen versions. Finally, it feels like the shackles are coming off, and we're seeing our games take that next step into the new generation. Most importantly, I got the impression that not only are the hardware makers trying to cut the spin and speak plainly to the players, But also developers want to be in an organic, evolving conversation with us too. Alphas and betas are here to stay, and hopefully they'll make our games better. But now I must leave this land of dreams, and I find myself wondering, where will our games go from here? What does the future really hold for them? Also, where am I? Whose car is this? And why is the coffee so bad here? It's like coal wrapped in dead ants and bin juice. Don't get me started on the toilets. Big, massive bowls. How do you make a landing pad?